We get some brand new plot details for the coming Falcon and the Winter Soldier series, and wait until you hear some of this craziness. What's up, everybody? It's Josh. Welcome back to the channel. Smash that like button like Captain America, and let's get right into this news. Real quickly, I want to tell you, viewer of awesome nerdy videos on YouTube, that we here at the Den of Nerds are putting on a trivia contest, and we are looking for people to sign up with teams to win some dope prizes. More on that at the end of the video. So these are coming to us by way of Reddit. These are unconfirmed leaks coming from a Redditor, and we have to take it with a giant grain of salt. However, we've actually talked about this particular Redditor's scoops a couple of times already. This is a person that claims to work as an editor over at Marvel Studios. This person has gotten some things right, but for now, a lot of what they're talking about is technically unconfirmed. So slight spoiler warning as we go through and preview these crazy things that are coming for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but I will let you know, I don't think these are anything major. Some of it's actually probably being changed with reshoots, and a lot of it has to do with beginning setups or things for the different characters, but not how the show ends. And also, I'm not going to go over beat by beat every single thing that is in the leaked post over on Reddit. You can check it out for yourself if you would like, but I'm going to touch on the major things and the things that are most interesting to me. All right, so here we go. First up, and very, very crazy, is the fact that Bucky Barnes will be under government mandated parole, and he is forced to work with the new Captain America, who will be John Walker. And it's been heavily rumored and speculated about that John Walker is going to receive a new super soldier serum, which will make him as strong, if not stronger, than Steve Rogers' Captain America. Bucky will be forced to work with this person, but he's going to be very skeptical of the super soldier serum that is given to John Walker. Apparently, there's a lot of manipulation going to be happening with Bucky as well, and they are eventually going to try to get Bucky to actually go after Sam Wilson, potentially going after him to try to kill him and to kill other members of the Falcon squadron that Falcon is training. Bucky decides that he'd rather be on the run again than be a part of what's going on with the government and this new Captain America and all of this craziness. So he literally goes on the run, and this is where he joins up with Sam Wilson again, and the two do their thing. Now, there is seemingly a huge reveal that Steve Rogers, when he goes to a different timeline, actually starts some kind of training academy. And this is a huge deal, which we'll come back to later because I think will tie into things happening in the MCU later on. But there's been this big debate between like the writers of Avengers Endgame and the directors of Avengers Endgame and just Marvel fans in general on, well, what happened with Steve Rogers? Did he go to this other timeline? Was he in our timeline the whole time? How does that exactly work? Well, it looks like Marvel, if this leak is to be believed, is going to go with the different timeline route, which is much better. It keeps everything much more clean. And it also means that Steve did not kiss his own daughter romantically in The Winter Soldier, or rather Civil War. Yeah, it was Civil War. Either way, that would be really weird and messy, and don't do that, Marvel. Apparently, there's going to be a dope team up between Isaiah Bradley and Sam Wilson, and they're both going to be utilizing the Captain America shield. That's going to be awesome. I cannot wait to see them passing the shield back and forth, much like Steve and Bucky did when they were fighting Tony Stark at the end of Civil War. A lot of things kind of paralleling, a lot of things, circles being tied up, you know what I mean? Also, and this is a kind of interesting thing here, there's this whole idea of the Mad Bomb, which was a crazy comic book story involving Captain America and Sam Wilson, where there was this sort of biological weapon called the Mad Bomb, which literally caused large groups of people to sort of lose their mind, start to fight each other, and be very brutal. Now, we had heard rumors that there was a biological weapon, something like a coming pandemic sort of thing, that was potentially going to be in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And the rumor was that Marvel was already looking to change this. They didn't like that messaging in the wake of a pandemic, just not a good look. So they were already planning on changing that. This leak is reporting that the Mad Bomb, which is a very classic comic book Captain America story, was going to be that biological weapon, and it was really going to play a major role in the end of the show, and that is all likely being changed now. He also mentions in the comments on the Reddit post that he believes Falcon and the Winter Soldier will be delayed to past when the new Black Widow date is, and that everything's sort of getting pushed back in general, which we sort of speculated about here as well. I tend to believe that is what will happen. So those are the major plot points, and it's really interesting because it sort of explains some of the set photos and the set videos that we got. There's that scene of John Walker Walker and Bucky Barnes seemingly working together to rescue some people. And we were all like, what the heck's going on here? Why would Bucky be working with John Walker? Well, it would make sense in the context of these new leaks that he is on a mandated parole and is forced to be the Bucky Barnes to this new Captain America. I think that's really cool, very interesting. A lot of this stuff also makes sense in the context of the other leaks and the things we've been hearing about the show, but it's hard to tell whether or not that means it's accurate or this person that's leaking this stuff is just being really clever in how they use the information and just recycle old scoops and information to make it seem like they are onto something. So again, we don't know for sure, right? We're speculating, right? We're just having fun. This is something that we got to do, right? We got nothing else to do. So now let me talk about my personal feelings about this. I really like it. Most of all, I like it because we're getting a sense of the struggles that Bucky Barnes will have. Most of the things that have been told, leaked, and reported about Falcon and the Winter Soldier all has to do with the Sam Wilson character. Now, I love the Sam Wilson character. I think it's fascinating doing the Isaiah Bradley character and that whole thing. I think it's fascinating, but I was equally as interested in what is going on with Bucky. I absolutely love the Bucky Barnes character, particularly the version in the MCU. He's just dynamic. It's really interesting, and so I'm glad we're getting more of a look into the conflict and the things that he'll be dealing with. It's really crazy, right? Like forced to work with a new Captain America? That's nuts. Going on the run again. His whole relationship with super soldier serums and mind control in general. This is all really cool stuff. I also find this idea of a academy that Steve Rogers institutes in a different timeline very, very interesting. There was also some rumors that Steve Rogers had a son in that other reality, and that son might even be sort of teased in this show and eventually come into the mainline MCU timeline. But this is interesting for two reasons. Number one, it's just frankly a cool way to carry on the legacy of Steve, and we could have like potentially the son of Steve or a student of Steve in the MCU or in some kind of a movie. And the back half, or the second part of that makes it so interesting, is the fact that again we are seeing the multiverse be incredibly important. This is literally a different timeline connected to a character that we care about quite a bit, and him leaving a legacy in a different timeline, showing to us the fans that in the MCU the whole multiverse matters and very well will be a sort of way to tell stories, to fold things in on each other. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness looks to see a ton of different multiverses, and maybe one of them is the timeline where Steve Rogers grew with Peggy and just was with Peggy the whole time, and then he formulates that academy. Very interesting stuff. I hope we get to see it paid off. Lastly, let's talk about this Mad Bomb thing. Now, we know Zemo is likely involved in all of this. In fact, there's a little bit of that in this leak as well that I didn't go into great detail here, but again, I'm not trying to spoil every single thing. I just wanted to give you guys context, talk about the things we care about here at the channel. But I do find it very interesting that the Mad Bomb is being changed. The only way this really makes sense to me is if the version of the Mad Bomb that they were going to do in Falcon and the Winter Soldier was way more of like a biological weapon and like this thing that was being spread around and had very, modern day pandemic-y type stuff going on with it. Otherwise, I just don't see why it's a big concern, right? So unless they adapted it, made it a little bit more realistic and postmodern, which makes sense for the MCU, I really don't see why the Mad Bomb has to be changed exactly. And again, it seems like really good writing because the super soldier serum having this element of mind control, right? And then the Mad Bomb itself potentially being something that also mind controls or alters the behavior in the minds of different citizens seems like a really cool through line, right? So it'll be interesting to see how they adjust it and what changes they make to it. But again, just on the surface level, I don't see how it's a huge problem unless they altered the Mad Bomb to make it way more like a pandemic in the show, which is possible. But either way, folks, if you've been watching me for any amount of time now, you will know that Falcon and the Winter Soldier is my most anticipated coming Disney Plus show, at least for this year and potentially next year. I'm so excited, man. I love these characters. I love the relationship and the chemistry that the two actors have. They are fire together, baby. So I can't wait to finally get Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Likely delayed past Black Widow later this year. But again, we got some cool new details here. I want to know what you think about these new details. Firstly, are you buying them? Are you not buying them? And then what do you think about them? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. And now let's shout out Cedric Clark. Indeed, Scott Summers' father is co-chair of the Starjammers. So shout out to you, Cedric. And now let's ask another nerd card question before we get out of here. I want to know what legendary comic book writer created the Mad Bomb storyline for Captain America comics back in the day. Dude was an absolute legend. The question remains, who wrote the Mad Bomb story for the Captain America comics? Answer that question in the comments section below. So let's talk trivia, baby. We're doing a big trivia contest, and we will be broadcasting the different matchups between teams once a week starting next month, and the show will likely run for a couple of different months. We're looking for you to come and participate. We're looking for teams of 4. You can email us at thedenofnerds@gmail.com or get us on social media if you would like to participate. If you already have a team, let us know. No big deal. We can accept a team of 4, or if you're just a person looking to sign up and find another team to participate with, we can handle that as well. So the trivia contest will be starting up, and we need people to sign up by the end of April to participate. So if that's something you'd be interested in, get a hold of us. Email us or get us on social media. And as I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.